Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here, and it is Saturday the 7th of January. Thanks for watching. Absolutely critical stages at the moment in the development of our weather for the middle part of January. I must first of all just say to you, thanks for supporting the site again. We've got adverts around the site, and it's those that generate the revenue that keeps the site free of charge. So thanks for clicking on those. Of course, the adverts you like and going through to see them, it is appreciated. Of course, don't just click on the advert because it's there. But thanks for going through if you choose to. Anyway, let's move on. This is the forecast from the GFS for next Sunday. It's midnight next Sunday, and absolutely critical happenings here. Notice that what I want to show you is this flow coming in off the pole down into the States, deepening this trough off the eastern parts of the States. Now, what that then does is it has a compensatory ridge that's out to the east in the mid-Atlantic here, look, and it builds that ridge into Iceland. This is the start of high pressure building out here in the Atlantic, which would turn our flow more into a northwesterly. Now, we've got a jet stream to the north of that high, look, that's managing to blow through Scotland, so still fairly unsettled conditions. But notice the ridge across the pole. The critical thing is, if this ridge in the Atlantic can meet the ridge coming in off the pole, that sets up a block off the western coast of Ireland and the UK, builds a block out here. This is where Captain Bob was going with his forecast, and brings a northerly flow down through the British Isles. Now, I have to say, I don't think that's going to happen. What I think is going to happen is that this cold pool that's over the northern parts of the States into Canada will drift eastwards. It'll block this ridge building its way northwards and effectively push the jet stream south through the southern parts of the country, bringing wind and unsettled conditions across the southern part of the UK, pushing it into France, into central parts of Europe, but introducing cooler weather through the British Isles and Ireland and much of northern Europe. Cold enough for snow across Scotland and snow over the hills of northern England and Wales, and perhaps even some sleet and snow at low levels across southern parts of England and Wales if we get a sufficiently deep area of low pressure going through. But I think overall this idea of conditions becoming cooler into the middle part of January is still looking to be the more likely scenario. Here's the NAO. This is the North Atlantic Oscillation for the coming days. It was very positive, but notice how now it's gone down more towards neutral. It sort of bounces along neutral, heading into positive territory. But this is the backup from the GFS of this more westerly flow that looks as if it's going to be in place. Now you compare that with the Arctic ensemble and with the GFS ensemble for the Arctic Oscillation. Look, into positive territory, meaning that the wind's strong around the Arctic Circle during this time at around about the 11th of January. Then it gradually comes up, look, as we head into the 14th or 15th. That's next weekend. This weakening of that westerly wind allows the cold air to drain south off the Arctic, further south through more mid latitudes, and this is the indicator of that cold air being able, there it is, of this cold air being able to get its way southwards through the more temperate latitudes, hence the cooler weather. So if I'm reading this correctly, I think this idea of the jet developing across the south with unsettled conditions there, drier, colder weather across the north of the UK, but with snow showers, looks at the moment as if it's going to be on, and certainly becoming much cooler through Scandinavia during the coming days. Question then becomes, how long does it last? How far does this go? Does it take us through to the end of the month? Does it take us through to the beginning of February? I have a suspicion that once this gets into place, we could then find a block building at the end of the month, early February, and that's where it takes us. Perhaps we should be looking at the period 5th to 6th of February before this breaks down. So that's where we are at the moment. Thanks again for watching, and do keep the sun shining.